especially the adventures that we have experienced together in the field of digitalization. I don't know about you, but I still perceive it as an adventure.
I am a person with almost 35 years of experience in IT.
You, of course, have a completely different career path than I do. Nevertheless, we have parallels.
Of course, people need technology, you need customers, there need to be markets, there needs to be demand, but above all, there needs to be leadership. Mario, welcome. I would like to say to both of us for our inaugural episode of Digital.Decoded, our great podcast. We are, of course, hoping for a lot of interaction from our listeners, from our viewers, and I think we should first briefly introduce ourselves. And who are we? How do we tick? And above all, why the podcast now? And why do we believe that now is the right time, Mario? So maybe you would like to just tell us, who are you?
Gladly, André. I am, of course, also very pleased to be able to do this podcast with you personally. I look forward to lively exchanges. Who am I? Mario Pufahl. I have been in the business for almost 30 years. Primarily in the areas of sales and leadership and AI. These are also our three topics that we want to explore together from different perspectives. And of course, I am also pleased that I can hopefully contribute something there. I am married, have 2 adult children, live near Düsseldorf, and the company I work for, Digital, operates worldwide. There, I hold the position of Chief Sales Officer. This means I am globally responsible for sales. Therefore, my heart has always been set on the field of sales. I once began my career earlier. I originally studied business administration in the field of consulting, worked at large consulting firms, but also spent some time in the industry. I also once did an apprenticeship as an industrial clerk. That means I have already seen the other side for almost 5 years, but I have been active in this consulting field for almost 25 years, and I want to bring that experience, Gidi, as well as the perspective of working as a sales manager in a line function, not just as a consultant for the sales area. And I am looking forward to exchanging ideas with you. We actually got to know each other during your time at Microsoft. You'll have something to say about that shortly. And since then, up to today, we've known each other for almost 10 years, I believe, 10 years exactly. And we've had many discussions. And so it's all the more enjoyable to bring our conversations, exchanges, and certainly the occasional disagreement to this podcast. But now I've talked a lot. Sorry, André. Over to you.
You're super. Okay, Mario. So first of all, I'm really thrilled that after 10 years, we're starting this journey together. And somehow you're almost in the same position. The company has changed a bit. Your role has expanded a bit. And I'm in a different role. You already mentioned it. I was in the management of Microsoft for 6 years, where I led sales on one hand and the partner organization on the other, but much more. I am a person with almost 35 years of experience in IT. So 35 years is quite a stretch. Yes, back then I was 15 and really started my career as a freelancer and then entered the world of large corporations, starting at Siemens at some point, then Fujitsu, then NTT, and finally Microsoft. And what has always moved me, Mario, and what has also brought us together a bit is the discussion, how can transformation in companies across different industries be successfully managed? What is needed for that? So of course it needs people, it needs technology, it needs customers, it needs markets, it needs a demand, but above all, it also needs leadership and new technologies. I already mentioned it, for example, like AI. And we want to talk more about all these topics in our hopefully very exciting episodes. And I'm really looking forward to that. Perhaps very briefly what I'm doing now. I became self-employed 2.5 years ago, built my own company that supports and advises clients in the transformation process. And I also do executive coaching, which means I accompany executives, board members, and managing directors in such transformation and change processes. I enjoy it immensely. And that's why, as you already said, for 10 years, we've somehow been on a journey having many discussions. And I've always said, man, if we had just recorded many of these discussions, we would probably already have enough material for our podcast. So it's all the more wonderful that we're managing to do it now.
Yes, you're absolutely right. There were really great things among them. We once had the working title, Digital Adventures Decoded, but now we've settled on the shorter version, Digital Decoded. But especially the adventures we've experienced together in the field of digitalization. Or I don't know about you, but I still perceive it as an adventure. Especially now, the topic of AI is more relevant than ever. We've planned different episodes on this topic, and I'm really looking forward to it. There's so much happening. Every day there are new AI bots or new possibilities that can be explored in some way. It's hard to keep up. And there are many, many topics we can explore together. Of course, not only the positive topics, but also the risks.
And I do believe that it's absolutely important. But I want to touch on another topic. You were absolutely right in saying that Digital Decoded is the main name of the podcast, and Digital Adventures Decoded is what we want to use. And we also invite our listeners and viewers to suggest topics and conversation partners, because Digital Adventures Decoded will always be a podcast when we invite guests. So the two of us will have conversations. We will also have some debates on certain topics, but we will also invite guests, exciting guests, with whom we will then discuss various topics. That means a call to our viewers, to our listeners. If you have topics that interest you, if you think of exciting people who you believe could have a good debate with Mario and André, then please feel free to send them to us. We look forward to your suggestions and would be very happy to follow up on them.
Yes, it would, of course, be nice if we could find many women for this, so it doesn't remain an all-male group. And I think we would be very, very happy if many people subscribe to our podcast. Feel free to spread the word, subscribe, like, and you can find us on all common platforms. Always think of us when you think of the three topics: leadership, sales, and AI, and then you're in the right place with this podcast. And I find that exciting. That was one of the reasons why we structured it this way. You, of course, have a completely different career path than I do. Yet we have parallels, and I find these different perspectives, especially as a consultant, very interesting. You have been very active in the software world, André, as you mentioned. Now we are both consultants. Nevertheless, we deal a lot with decision makers almost daily, where we take on a consulting role, but also receive a lot of input. We would like to share that here, of course, without mentioning any names. But these are, of course, I believe, or from my experience, many points that are also exciting to discuss and to share here.
Yes, I see it that way too. And I want to deliberately point out one thing again, because one might ask, why are the two of them doing a podcast on a topic where you might already find many podcasts on the internet? You remember we talked about it. It was also a kind of, how should I say, development and maturation process from the first idea we had to the current point where we are starting to record the podcasts. And both of us, Mario, agreed very, very quickly. Of course, there are many podcasts, many opinion pieces, and also a lot of content on these different topics you mentioned. But of course, we also want to bring in our experience. Whether it's 30 or 25 years, I think it's fair to say that together we have more than 50 years of experience to bring exactly this experience in and say, how does it really work in practice? And it's also good that we don't always have the same perspective, the same opinion, and sometimes engage in quite controversial discussions, which has always been very important to us and still is. In some places, we might even provoke a little, and above all, invite the listener to join the discussion, whether it's on YouTube, on the usual podcast platforms, or on LinkedIn. So feel free to start a discourse, a discussion with us. You can count on that. We will also respond to that, and we are very much looking forward to the exchange.
Yes, absolutely. I think that says it all, dear André. We will have a lot of fun over the next episodes, weeks, months, and please subscribe to us, like us, and accordingly, please share our content a lot, and of course the podcasts too, and help us spread this podcast.